What's going on, guys? It's time to stretch. But before we stretch, we got to do a little bit of a warm up. We're going to do quite a bit of jumping here at the beginning. So hopefully everybody's ankles and knees are good enough to handle it. But my ankles and knees need to warm up. So we're going to do 3 different sets of these jumps. So we'll start off with side straddle hops. We're going to go for 30 seconds for all of these. So don't worry about counting, just apart and together for 30 seconds. Let's go. Oh, I still have a little bit of a headache.
Very challenging.
I guess I didn't realize until I started bouncing. Oh, it's not done. Hopefully this doesn't make it worse when we finish the song today.
You may have just sent a message to somebody.
Alright, and that's 30. Alright, so now we're going to do the front and the back. So, one leg, the other leg, blah, blah, blah. Ready to go. Try to make it so your heels are touching as lightly as possible. You want to keep on your toes. And stop. So all we're going to do now is combine them. So we're going to go side, forward with one leg, side again, forward with the other leg. Coming feet together in between every jump. So apart, one leg, apart, the other leg. 30 seconds to do it. And that's 30. Cool sauce. Alright. Let's do that's more here, get a little blood pumping. But I do want to put some more blood into our legs and our hamstrings. So we're gonna do some basic pull squats. We're gonna go for 20. More or less, you're gonna stay in your squat position, but you're gonna bounce just a little bit. So stay super low the entire time and bounce 20 times. Go. Goes around the whip line. We're gonna do similar motion in our lunges. So I'm gonna turn sideways so you guys see what I'm talking about. My legs go pretty wide, and I'm gonna bend like a bad front stance basically, and then bounce in that position. So I bend my knee really deep, and then we're just gonna strobe in that position. We're gonna do 20 per leg. Okay, let's do it. Try not to push off your back foot too much. When you do that, focus on the front leg. All right, hips before hams. Grab. Straight legs. One leg. Other leg. And center. I'll walk like this. Sorry, all right. Have a seat. That was fun, actually. All right, we're focused on quite a few basics. So, positions that we can hold easily. We're going to start with straddle before we go into half stretch. And we're going to do 3 stretches for 30 seconds in this position. We're going to go forward the entire time. So we're not going to worry about side to side. We're just going to work on getting a little bit wider every time. So start in a comfortable position and then just chill.
Anna's joining us online today.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Anna?
Hi, Anna. Come on, Alessandro. Show mommy how it's done.
So we've got Hunter and Jim.
Hunter, of course. Jim, of course.
Trail with kids.
Salad man.
Kale with all the sides.
Kale with, yeah, with all the sides. Kale and his tomatoes. If you had a redhead, ooh. All right, put one foot out a little bit further. So you lift up from the back, push one leg forward, sit back down. It's only a couple inches.
Like grows longer than you.
My salads are made out of meat. I have leaves of turkey all throughout it, sprinkled in some chicken for croutons, and just garnished with a little bit of ham. Okay, go to the other leg, a little further. Ugh. Yep, that's as far as it goes.
Gemma, are you stretching back there?
And that's 30. Pull yourself backwards to release. Alright, so we're gonna go half stretch or half split this time. So one leg out in front, one leg behind, reaching towards the straight leg. Or the straight-ish leg in my case. Oh, my right leg does not lock out, so that doesn't mean I want you to bend your knee like me. If you stand on my leg, it doesn't go like flat on the bottom. Keeping your leg bent, you're gonna go backwards as far as you can.
Hi, Gemma.
Now this might hurt your knees. If you feel a stretch on your quad, just go back till you feel that stretch. Right? You don't have to go flat. But if you feel pain in your knee and don't feel a stretch, just ignore this one.
Stand up.
We have a couple other ways to stretch this muscle, which we'll do in just a second. All right, let's switch legs. So, baby. She's been a leech, a shadow. I've been calling her my shadow for the last 2 weeks. Reach towards a straight leg. By the way, the further you pull this leg behind you, the easier it is to stretch the front leg. So you want to pull it back as far as your body will allow.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now we're gonna lean backwards. This time we pull the knee in a little bit when you go backwards because I'm trying to stretch the top quad here. Me either. Okay, and relax. Alright, so I told you we have another way. There's a couple more ways to stretch the top of that back leg. So you stretch your quad muscle. We're going to go into the one that helped me the most when I had my front split. And it is a little bit difficult for me since my knee surgeries because my legs don't bend. So if you have any issue, it's going to be grabbing your foot. Try to find any way, any support, balance with your hand on a couch, on a chair. Get a child to hand you your own foot. Because the only people that are going to have problems with that are going to be the people that are older or have prior injuries that you're dealing with. If you have anything wrong with your knees, this becomes difficult. But once you get your foot in your hand, everything else is golden. So I want this foot, my back leg, and my front hand. Don't grab it with the same side. So my left has to grab my right. You're going to put your other hand in front of you and we're going to lunge. But we're going to lunge, I got a first try, from this position. So right now I'm not sitting in my lunge, I'm just holding my foot. It's a lunge when your hips go forward. So the further forward you go, the more you'll feel it in that leg. Let's hold this.
I feel that.
Reach.
Lost count. So let's hold for another 10 and be done. Okay, go ahead and relax. Let's do the other leg. I actually, when I stretch normally, I like to do the same leg, like through a whole routine, and then do the whole routine, back to back, and then do the whole routine on the other leg. But for right now, just so we can walk through the exercises, we're alternating legs. Grab your other foot. Playing football.
Yeah, she is.
She's throwing the ball to herself. Alright. And relax. Alright, so that's a good quad stretch. Now, just for gigs, I'm going to show you guys a bad variation of how. So if you're very, very close to hitting your splits, I used to just do this playing, but it ended up helping me get my splits. Which if I do it right now, I'm going to run over the shot. What are you doing? She's dog butt scooting. Make sure when you guys come back to class, you stand right there. She's teabagging around.
We need to do a gentle workout.
Do you have like an itchy butt or something? Did you get both cheeks?
Okay, I'll be serious.
I don't know, maybe we could screenshot that and make it a GIF or something. But anyway, yeah. So I can't really do this, but this is more for the younger folk. If you can reach forward and grab your foot, I used to do it more starting up. Grab your foot and you roll.
Oh my goodness, he's got us rolling over again, Jim.
Oh, wait, no, I don't have you rolling over. I said if anybody wants to mess around with that, that's not what we're doing. But because I was so close to my splits, I could grab with both hands and roll and stay in that position and roll up without ever letting go of my foot. Little did I know that motion was actually helping me stretch and got me the rest of the way until I started landing in the splits. And then I had my first hip surgery and that all went away. I did get it back, and then I had my ACL surgery and lost it again. Anyway, we're gonna go into our basic stretches. So we're gonna go from frog to middle split, from standing lunge to front split, and standing lunge to front split on the other side. So let's do this, starting from our knees, feet wherever you want, but you're gonna go as far apart. Oh, I feel my groin. As you can. Okay, I can't really push. You should be pushing your hips down, like you're actually trying to do the splits right now. I can't. Every time I start to move, I can still feel my groin. It's only been a month, and the last time I pulled my groin, it took like 4 or 5 months to heal. All right, so now from here, we're just gonna go up in a middle split, and we're gonna hold a position that we can hold. I also notice a couple things. First, when I'm up here, I like to keep my feet flat. This is for 2 reasons. Feet up will stretch a slightly different part of your leg, and I'm stretching more the inside right now. I also have better balance. I'm not going to rock back and fall over. I also have better hip alignment. My hips are in line with my heels. So when you go all the way down, and most of you guys are sitting, if you go all the way down with your feet pointing forward, you're flat. If you go all the way down with your feet pointing up, you could be flat or you could be sitting back. I don't want my butt to hit the ground when I do this. Also, if you get close enough to the ground, you can put your elbows down on the ground. But I'm not even gonna let myself come close to that. I do feel a slight stretch right here, anyway. Remember, we're just holding it. So if you can't hold it, you're either doing it wrong so you're off balance, or you're going too far, which I guess would still be doing it too, doing it wrong. I have to be in a position that I can hold. All right, and relax. So now we're gonna go to standing lunge, and I want my feet as far apart as I can get them without falling over. So not the splits yet. And you're gonna bend your front knee and try to drive the top of your back leg to the ground. Now, if you're freaky flexible, you might be actually to get your back leg to the ground and keep it straight. But, you know, this hip, while your front leg is bent. But for most humans, that part's not gonna happen. All you're gonna do is you're just gonna focus on pushing your hips to the floor. So in this position, super wide stance, I lunge, and I'm just trying to push this hip to the floor. Putting your hand on the ground will make it easier on your leg, but sitting up will stretch the hip more. And relax. Ooh, that one. That one is not bueno. It's not bien. All right. Other leg. That was about 20 seconds. I'm not looking at the clock. Stretch. And relax. And you know, my back leg's not completely straight either. I'm straightening it as much as I can. So if you can lock that back leg out, you're probably pretty flexible already. Otherwise, once you get as low as you can, you should be trying to push that straight and then push your hip that way. Cool sauce, and now let's do our front split. Gosh, I'm gonna do the bad leg first. They're both bad legs, but start on your knee. Put one leg in front. Now, especially on carpet, I have trouble sliding. If you put a sock under your foot on tile or something, you can slide. But for me, I'm gonna go as far as I possibly can, moving the front leg, and then to go further, I move the back leg instead, because my hands will be on the ground by then. All right, so push your front leg forward as far as it goes, and then move your back leg back.
Oh, hey, I got this finally. I'm all the way down. Lit.
Yeah, you are.
5 more seconds. And relax. Go to the other side. When I would do my splits, the part that was the hardest for me was trying to get this leg, the back leg, on the ground. It was always sideways, so trying to roll my hips over. But one of the people that used to help me told me it's not my hamstring. Stretching my hamstrings more didn't make that happen. Stretching my hips more allowed me to square my hips up more. So, and then we don't actually land like that, so I stopped practicing that position. But you're trying to get flat. You want the top of this leg on the ground. You got to stretch your hips as well as your hamstrings in order to make that motion happen. All right, let's go. This is my good leg. This is the leg that used to do the splits. The only side I've ever been able to do splits. Oh, another interesting note is not everybody can do middle splits. Regardless of, you can stretch every day in your life, and if you don't have the right genetics, you won't be able to get completely flat in middle splits. There are gymnasts that cannot do full middle splits. It's not because they're not flexible, it's just because they don't have the right hip structure. Nothing you can do about that. But front split, everybody can do. I can't even get my calf to the ground anymore. My leg used to bow a lot though, so like I can go get my calf to the ground without going deeper just because my leg would bow. Forgot what number we started on. Stuff with 3. Oh no, it was the 4th. Never mind, take it back. I know where I'm at. And relax.
Woo! Good job.
Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys one more, especially if you have kids that are trying to stretch with you, or if you are the kid. This is well, what I have affectionately named the devil splits. And to do these, you can kind of do them on your own, not really, but it's better with a partner. The reason why they're nicknamed that is because you will think your partner is the devil. But if you do it with a chair or something like this, you're going to keep your arms completely straight and in front of you. So if I stand the way I'm standing like this, you can use your body, your arm strength to hold you up. But if I'm out here with my arms straight out in front of me, once you get to your furthest, you can't hold yourself up with your arms. You can simply use the bar to balance or the chair to balance. But more often, or more importantly, there we go, you're not stopping yourself from going as far as you possibly can. What most folk will do is they'll get to a certain point and they'll actually sit back. They'll fall out of it because you're trying to bail on the trick or on the split. But you have the ability. It kind of proves you have the ability to go further than you're letting yourself. So a lot of people have a tendency to stop themselves and say that they're not flexible enough. Where you are, you're just not letting yourself go further. But after you've done all of this and your legs are nice and loose, it is now safe to push yourself this far. I definitely would not do that at the beginning without warming up, without doing some prior stretches. But just using body weight stretches are awesome. You can do this with front split too. You hit front split, and you don't necessarily need a partner to do front split. So if I'm doing the middle split, I'm either going to go like this with my hands on the chair, or I'm going to have somebody stand behind me and hold my hands above my head. And they're not going to hold me up. They're just simply going to keep their hands on my hands so that I can't reach down. We'll see how far I go.
Yeah, with your pull, that's probably not the best idea.
This is as far as my legs will go. I'm actually trying to creep my foot out further. But the important thing is that with my hands out here, I can't hold myself up as well. So my body weight's going to push me more, but it's better if you've got somebody holding you up here. So I'll probably go further if somebody's holding me up here. I'm not quite straightening my legs because it hurts, but it hurts my groin. But the front split, you don't necessarily need a partner for. A partner will just help you not cheat. Middle split, you need it for the balance. But if I do, say, front split right here, simply lift your arms up to the side. And you should have seen I just got a little bit lower just by lifting my arms up. Because your hands are not holding you up off the ground. It lets gravity do the work for you. One last stretch you guys can do with gravity if you have an open wall, if you've never done splits on the wall, that is pretty much the easiest stretch you can do because you can chill, play games on your phone, watch videos on your phone, but you lay on your back.
That one's my favorite.
This line, imagine this is a wall, right? So I'm gonna get in front of my wall and I'm gonna sit alongside the wall. Now I'm gonna move my head this way and shove my butt all the way up against the wall, which for some reason most people struggle with this part right here.
Getting up there.
But if I start like this, I'm already up against the wall. When I put my feet up, I'm not trying to scoop myself forward from my back, which doesn't work well. So I want to roll my feet up to the wall. The wall's right here, and then just let my feet hang. If you have ankle weights, it works a little better, but it's not necessary. Gravity's gonna do the work, and I can just sit there in that position for extended periods of time. For me, most of the time I go until I start to feel my legs go numb, because in that position the blood will drain out of your legs. So I don't want to sit there for too long, but for like 2 minutes at a time. Sit there for 2 minutes, sit up and straddle or butterfly stretch for 2 minutes, and then go back into it. So those are all great gravity drills. These are all things that you can do and just hang out for a minute. Feel me? All right, guys. Let's go. What is the balance?
We used it for your pivot day
Oh, okay.
and your balance day.
All right. Let's go a couple of different exercises. We're kind of out of time, but we're gonna throw these in there anyway. Senior left. Senior's normally here to do odd exercises with you, but I'm gonna give you guys a couple of the stretches that I do when I'm at the gym. A couple of the stretches I do for my own recoveries, because we all tend to do that. We give you our rehab regimen, which for some of the exercises I have found out doesn't actually make sense because it's only hard if the joint is weak. If you have normal joints, you don't feel a thing. But we're gonna start off with wrists. So grab your fingers, palm facing down, and pull up slightly. I never go too hard with this. Just stretch out my forearms. I normally hold it for about 10 to 15 seconds. And now we're gonna stretch the bicep by turning our hand around and pulling the hand. So this isn't necessarily a wrist stretch. What it does is it elongates this. So I do this before and during my working sets at the gym. So if you do a whole lot of things with your arm, you notice it gets really stiff. It'll make it so that you can't elongate the muscle. It'll also make it so that if you go to drop a weight and it goes too fast, you'll hurt it. So continually stretch it. Let's do the other hand. Forearm first, fingers up. I would say this is like good for people with wrist injuries or carpal tunnel, but I actually have no idea. I've never done this after a wrist injury.
Nail techs,
Prevent
cosmetologists, real good to do in between
Okay,
clients.
go upside down. This arm's less flexible. I
Tech
can
people.
definitely feel it in my
Yeah.
bicep.
Sit on the computer all day.
To get this to stretch your bicep, your arm needs to be straight, so make sure you're pushing that arm, you're locking that arm out. Okay, and relax. If you have a set of dumbbells, hold a light set, maybe 5 to 10 pounds, arm straight, and just twist your arm. So you let your arm, the weight will make your arm twist further than you can do like this. So it doesn't really work without a weight. But if you have a weight, it'll make your arm, you won't be able to go that fast. It's gonna go back and forth, and it'll make your arm twist a little bit further. That's a good way to warm up it too. All right, so we're gonna go shoulder and tricep. So we're gonna go behind our head. Grab your elbow, pull it across. Tell yourself you're doing a good job. I sit here and play, because when you put your shoulders up like this, the socket separates right here, and I just sit there and I poke the hole. I don't know why, that's so amusing to me. Okay, let's do the other side. I'm not even counting. I don't count when I'm at the gym either. if you've ever heard me talk about stretching or anything before, I go, or my warm up too, I go until it doesn't hurt. So as right now it feels super stiff in the back of my right arm. So I'm just gonna sit here until that stiffness starts to ease up. Might shake it out a little bit, but yeah, my right arm's super stiff. Okay, and relax. I do motions like this to stretch out my chest, but you gotta make sure you do this in super light and easy. Keep your arms slightly bent so that you don't overstretch anything. But we're gonna try to find a pole. I was gonna see if we could use a person, but I don't think a person will work. The last upper body exercise I do, there's a couple variations of it. I don't do any of the weird angles. So if you ever go to the gym and you see a cage, just a random cage, that cage is meant for stretching. So all the bars are so that you can hold your arms at different angles and twist against it. But there's only one that I do on there. I guess I kind of do that one, but I normally use the pulley to actually do that because I can move a little bit. But for the normal bar, use this as magic. Use my pole. You can do this hand against the wall, tree, something. Hand against the wall, turn away from it as far as you can go. And trying to keep your hand parallel with your shoulder. Don't let it drop down. Keep it up nice and high. And you do that on both sides. Since I don't have anything out here to demonstrate that one, I'll just give you that one to play with. All right, so the last two. One of them I'll explain because once again I don't have the, well, I can make stuff out of it, but I don't want to hold you guys up too long. So we're gonna go sprinter stretch, which is just like you're about to run or about like you're doing the rock climbers. And you're going to try to push your heel to the ground with your legs straight. This can be done standing up as well, but I'm going to demonstrate it with my hands on the floor. So hands on a chair, hands on the wall, or hands on the floor, whatever you want. But you're more or less going to be in this position right here. This leg has to be straight. And then you're going to try to push your heel to the floor. What this leg does doesn't really matter. See if you can do it here. This was the hardest stretch coming back from my... Matter of fact, I don't think I've done this on the ground with my Achilles yet. This will be the first time I've ever done it. Make sure you're pushing that leg straight. Not just keeping it kind of straight. You gotta actually actively push, and you're gonna feel it right here in your calf. Okay, let's do the other leg. By the way, I don't go too hard. I push my leg as straight as I can, and then I kind of ease back. I actually don't feel my calf stretch at all. It's like my Achilles won't let it go. Okay, and relax. Yeah, I don't even really have a calf on that side, so it's probably why it doesn't stretch that much. The more muscle you have, the harder it is to stretch. So keep that in mind, especially while you're working out. That's why it's so important to stretch while you train, because if I continually stretch and then I gain muscle, I won't lose flexibility because you've maintained it the whole time. The more muscle you have, the more, that's what you're stretching, is the muscles. If you don't have that much muscle, this is why skinny people have such good flexibility. There's not a whole lot of muscle there to stop their legs. But if you watch like a gymnast, their legs are massive. So if they don't continually stretch while they train, they'll lose a ton of flexibility because of how much muscle there is.
With that runner stretch, a variation, if you have stairs in your house.
That was the next one.
Oh, you're going to go there?
Yeah.
Be careful with it, but you're going to stand on the edge of the step where your heel hangs off your stair. So your heel can push down. Don't bounce. Push. Because if you bounce, number one, you could lose your balance and fall down your stairs. But number two, you could pull a muscle because there's nothing supporting you. But it's a really good stretch.
This is probably a little bit better to do than to use a stair. Using stairs is really the main option I have. But at the rehab places,
We could use the balance beam.
You just use balance. You're gonna put your foot on top of something solid, so it can't be like a pillow, it can't move. Heel on the ground, lock that leg out, and then you're simply gonna lean forward as far as you can without bringing your heel up. So the only reason I have my hands on Mrs. Matthews is so I can have balance. I can't really go forward on that foot, but I can on this one. This is how far I can go. It's not very, doesn't take very long before I feel a stretch in my calf. But the main thing that I'm trying to do is keep my legs straight and then make that motion. And having your foot on an elevated surface like that is going to make it stretch so much more. All right, guys. Hopefully, arms, wrists, biceps, legs feel nice and loose. Oh yeah, I imagine you can do stretches for your abs. I don't stretch my core. It never really changes anything, so that's why I don't do it. I don't ever feel more flexible. But, you know, there are lower back stretches and things that you can do that I don't have time to go over today, but hopefully we got a little bit better with our hip stretches. Remember those gravity stretches, especially splits on the wall. If you got time and you're not doing anything, you're not watching TV, you're just playing on your phone, play on your phone with your feet on the wall in split position. It'll help. It adds up over time. You got to do it consistently, but it adds up. All right, guys, that's all for today. We will see y'all in the next episode, and deuces.
Nice job, guys.